Oh, it's Friday the 12th of October. In this video I'm just going to look at the latest Thunderball results and see if any of the numbers were outstanding or predictable, and if so, see if I can predict some numbers. Now, on Tuesday these numbers came out, and I'll just show you what I know about this draw 2318. So in draw 2318, this is what the chart looked like for machines 5 and 6, sets of balls 5, 6, 7 and 8, which are the ones that they're using at the moment. And as you can see, they use machine 6 and set of balls 5. And when we look at this chart, excuse me, those are the winning numbers. And I'll just show you whereabouts they are on the chart. So you can see that they were generally at the more frequent end, except for the Thunderball. Now, if we narrow it down to just the machine that was used and the set of balls that was used, then we're looking at more relevant information, and you can see that number 21, which came out, was the most frequent for that machine and set of balls, and the most overdue number was 23, and that one came out as well. So if we look at just the set of balls and we look at all the draws where that set of balls was being used up until the last draw, then still we get 21 most frequent. And you can see the Thunderball number 4 was second most frequent, and I'll just show you where all the winning numbers were on that chart. So that's where they were, and that's where the rest of the numbers were. Now, if we look at a chart for number 21, and if we look at all machines and all sets of balls where that number's been drawn, every draw where that number's been drawn, basically, when this spreadsheet finally refreshes itself, come on, it's going very slow because of the things that I've added, and I can get rid of some of these things. I thought I deleted that. Oh, that's why. Ah, right. Now it makes more sense. Right, when we look at just number 21, then we find that the number that's most frequent with 21, number 24, that came out. And the one that's most overdue, and also most overdue for its frequency with 21, is 23. So looks like 23, not just outstanding with that set of balls and machine, but also with the other number 21 that was outstanding with that machine and set of balls. So you can see possibly a reason why, sort of a mathematical reason, because the longer a number's not been out in any given number of draws, the more likely it is to come out, because obviously it's got the same chance in every draw. So if there's a lot of draws where it doesn't get drawn, then obviously the chance of it coming out in later draws, it builds up. It's just a mathematical fact. So that explains why these numbers came out together. And now you can see a reason why the Thunderball number 4 came out as well, because it's most overdue with that number. So it's as though number 21 was kind of a lead number and all the others just seem to follow suit. Now if we look at number 24, I should imagine 21's most frequent, which it is. So I would have expected to see something interesting on that, but there doesn't seem to be anything. Now I'm just going to have a look at number 4. See that the Thunderball number 4 most overdue for its frequency with main number 4, and if we look at the other main number 15, we can see 23 just there, and that's about it for that number. Now if we look at Thunderball number 4, let's see where the main numbers are paired with that one, then it turns out that 21 was most overdue with that, and you can see there's number 4 on the edge of the chart, and number 15 as well. See the edge of the chart is this line that goes from top left to bottom right, so not exactly on it, but they're near it. Now if we narrow it down to just the 2 machines and 4 sets of balls that are in use at the moment, and we'll look at all the balls individually on this chart, then it looks like this now, and there's the Thunderball section on the right. Now if we look at numbers paired with 21 now on this chart for the current trend, then whereas when we look at all machines and sets of balls, Thunderball number 4 was most overdue, when we're looking at just these 2 machines and 4 sets of balls that are currently in use at the moment, Thunderball number 4 is most overdue for its frequency. So 2 reasons why number 4 came out with 21. So let's just see where the other winning numbers were on that chart. So 15 and 24 at the bottom, 23 near the top, and number 4 just sort of in the middle on the edge of the chart. Now let's look at some of the other numbers and see where the winning numbers were. So that's the chart for 24, and we've got 23, and there's all the numbers. So again, number 4 on the edge of the chart at 23. We've seen 21, seen 24. Let's look at Thunderball number 4. See what we found on that. So you can see number 24 on the edge of that chart. So it's a result that wasn't really the most outstanding in numbers, but it kind of makes sense when you look at the machine and the set of balls that was used. So that summarises Tuesday's draw. Well, my analysis of Tuesday's draw, should I say. Now let's have a look at the draw for the next day, which was Wednesday, and this time it was machine 5 and set of balls 8. Thunderball was number 9, which was the most overdue Thunderball for the current trend, which is machines 5 and 6 and sets of balls 5, 6, 7 and 8. So straight away we've got a possible reason why Thunderball number 9 came out. and that will be the mathematical reason, because if it's most overdue, then obviously it's got the best odds. So obviously when you calculate the odds for the Thunderball, each Thunderball has the same odds of being drawn, which is basically 1 in 14. However, I'm not looking at one draw, I'm looking at a series of draws going back as far as 2109. That's the last time that number was drawn, and all these draws where these 2 machines and 4 sets of balls have been used, summarising all these draws, if Thunderball number 9's only been drawn once, then obviously it's got more chance of being drawn. But I'm not going to actually write out all the equations to prove it, because it'd take a long time, and I'll save that for another video. But anyway, Thunderball number 9 came out, so let's have a look at a chart for main numbers paired with Thunderball number 9. So this is a chart summarising all the draws where Thunderball number 9 has been drawn since the main numbers went up to 39. And let's see where the winning numbers were on that chart. So that's where they were. I noticed number 3 was second most overdue, but not the most outstanding, so it wasn't predictable from that. But anyway, 15 came out again, and when we look at all machines and all sets of balls, then you can see the reason why number 22 was most outstanding, because it was most overdue and also most overdue for its frequency. So there's a good possible reason why 22 came out. Now if we look at a chart for numbers paired with 22, looks like that, and if we see where the winning numbers were on that chart, then that's where they were. So I'd like to see what it looks like for main number 22 and Thunderball number 9. And interestingly enough, the number that's most frequent with main number 22 and Thunderball number 9, number 15, that came out. So if we'd have predicted Thunderball number 9 because it was most overdue for the current trend, number 22 because it was most overdue and most overdue for its frequency for all machines and all sets of balls. I actually got number 22 on my ticket for Wednesday's draw, which was this one, but it wasn't enough to win, even though I got number 3 as well, because you don't get anything for 2 numbers. So close, but not close enough. So unfortunately I didn't win anything. So so far we've got 15, 22 and Thunderball number 9. Now let's see what happens when we look at main number 15 on its own. Oh, very interesting. By far the most frequent number with 15 is main number 3. So if we'd have predicted these numbers for the reasons that I've already gone over, then when we looked at a chart for 15 we could have predicted number 3 from that, just from the fact that it's very frequent with number 15. So let's see what we get when we look at a chart for number 3. Obviously 15 most frequent, as you'd expect. And let's see if any of the other winning numbers stand out much. No, they don't, not really. So let's narrow it down to just the machine that was used, machine 5. Let's see what the chart looks like for that, and all the numbers individually on this chart. Then we get another winning number, 38, most frequent for machine 5. So almost possibly predictable, I'd say, because if we were going to put a different line on for each different machine and pick the most frequent number with each machine, then we could have predicted 38 that way. Now the only one I've not seen yet outstanding is 34. Now on this chart you could say that it's outstanding because it's particularly slow, so there's a kind of what's the word, it's as though it needs to catch up basically, because obviously the numbers will spread out over time because that's just what they do, but the ones that are slow need to catch up. So I wouldn't say that's a reason why 34 came out, but it is a kind of a mathematical reason that's quite possibly valid. I don't know how valid. But anyway, if we just look at the set of balls that was used, which was set of balls number 8, and see where the winning numbers were on that chart. You can see they're all at the slightly more frequent end of the chart. So let's see if 34 stands out with any of the other numbers that were drawn combined with the set of balls that was used. So I'll just go through all of them and see if 34 stands out on any of these charts. See, there's 34, second most frequent with 22. And when we look at 38, that's where the winning numbers were on that. So let's see what we get for Thunderball number 9. So I'm not seeing it stand out much on any of these charts. So let's see what we get if we narrow it down to the machine and the set of balls as well that we used. So nothing outstanding on that. So if I look at a chart for 34 and machine 5, and let's include the Thunderballs, and do the same for machine 8. I mean set of balls 8, should I say. Nothing on that. So on this chart you can see that number 15 is almost the most overdue for its frequency with number 34, and I'm guessing that it's not standing out because it's probably the exact same as number 19 on this chart. See, it goes on the volume with this, I mean on the area of this square, so that square is probably the same size as that one, or another number, so I don't know. I suppose if I turn off the analyzer section, then it turns out, oh, number 26 is most overdue for its frequency on that chart, not number 15, but 15 is still on the edge of the chart, so if I look at a chart for 15, I would expect 34 to be somewhere on the edge of this chart, but it's not particularly outstanding. So I'm not sure if 34 was at all predictable in any way, but the other numbers were, so that's interesting enough as it is. I'll just show you the probability field. Now this is kind of a new thing that I've added, and it doesn't actually work out the probabilities in much depth, but what it does is basically counts how many numbers are in each column, and from that it works out the probability of a number landing in the next column in the next draw. So as you can see on this chart, the numbers are quite spread out, but we can narrow that down by eliminating some of the draws. So for example, 22 hasn't been out since draw 2286, so if we only go back as far as draw 2286, then we get this. Now this is kind of a self-defining chart where the number of draws is defined by the number that's most overdue on the chart, which is 22. That for some reason doesn't appear on this chart. But anyway, when we look at it like this, then you can see something quite interesting. If I just see, when we do the analysis, you can see Thunderball number 9 most overdue for its frequency when we look at it like this. So that's kind of interesting. And you can see 34 is on the edge of that chart. So let's just do that again, but this time we'll go back as far as when, in fact we'll look at the current trend, machines 5 and 6, and we'll let the most overdue Thunderball define which draws we look at. So the chart for the current trend is this one, and the most overdue Thunderball hadn't been out since draw 2109. So if we just go back as far as 2109 and look at the current trend, now it turns out 15 most frequent, and again you can see 34 coming more towards the edge of the chart, so that would possibly explain to some extent why that number came out. But anyway, that basically summarises my analysis of the last two Thunderball draws. So for the next draw, I'm going to still go with main number 8 and Thunderball number 8. For obvious reasons. And I'm only going to put one line on. So the numbers that I had before were these ones, so I've got 8, 28, 30 from the ball 8. I'm going to keep those ones. But instead of 3 and 22, I'm now going to have 25, because it's most overdue for its frequency on this chart. And when we look at the full draw history, as far back as when the numbers went up to 39, in fact if we look at all machines and sets of balls as well, see which is most overdue, then it's 25. So I'm going to pick that number, and then I just need one more main number, and the one that's most overdue for its frequency is number 29. So I'm going to have that one. And that concludes this video. So bye for now, look out for the next one.